Hi, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen, and I'm reminding you the drawing for the month of August is the Sacred Destiny Oracle, which this will be featured at the end of the reading. If you want to enter the drawing, you'll go to the monthly reading. It's on the main page of the channel, so you can check it that way. I'm going to link it here also. The monthly reading for August was real interesting. It's I mean, the overall theme was like, you know, in August there was going to be like a really harsh reality check at the beginning of the month, and then that was going to be followed by like sort of like a recalibration, and then the beginning of a new era, you know. And so it's real interesting because definitely the readings that have been coming through for the month of August have like really aligned with that message really well. So I think a lot of people are going through this right now because, you know, obviously the whole world is in a state of flux because of everything that's been happening with the virus, and it's a really tumultuous time for everyone, and it's really interesting just to watch all the adaptations that are happening because of it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, it's a wild time for sure. I am pulling to start the reading from the Mystical Shaman Oracle. This is my favorite deck. It was the giveaway from last month for the month of July. So that deck ended up getting shipped to India. So 2 months in a row we've shipped decks to India. So we'll see what happens this month. If you're new to the channel, crazy. If you're new to the channel, just want to let you know that the videos on this channel are arranged according to storyline. So I arrange them in playlists or threads according to storyline. So like related readings will get linked together. I also try to link readings up above that might be relevant to the reading that's coming through. So, you know, it's just some ways to navigate the channel. Definitely, I can see already that this message coming through is threading to some other messages that have come through. So, okay, so, you know, this message, as with many of the all of the messages so far this month, I think really align with the monthly reading quite well. But, you know, the cards that are coming through right now, it's like, it speaks to like really truly the beginning of a new era. So kind of what I was talking about. And it's interesting because the last couple readings have all been about like harsh reality checks and recalibrations, but this one, it looks like the beginning of a journey. So the first card we have is the Middle World. So this is a card, I mean, the Middle World is kind of like three-dimensional reality. I mean, it's sort of the point where heaven and the earth like meet, you know. And but this card is an auspicious card because it speaks to the heavens and the earth being in alignment. And you know, we have these birds here, which kind of, you know, speak to the truth, you know, like they're being in alignment between what's happening in three-dimensional reality, what's happening in the spiritual realm, and that, you know, that being in alignment with the truth. So this is like really auspicious, you know, because it's just sort of like conditions are favorable for your undertaking, you know, and that flows so nicely into the next card, which is the Journey, you know, which is sort of like the beginning of like a new era, you know. But this is a card that's sort of beckoning you to step out of the boundaries of life as you know it, and step out into a new journey, you know, like It's not a time to follow paths that have already been tread. You know, this is a time to follow your own inner compass and step out into the unknown, and take a leap of faith, you know. And then, interestingly, we have the medicine wheel. So this is the card that came out in the last reading I did. Let's see, what was that reading called? I can't remember, but I'm going to link it here. But, you know, it was all about doing this inner work, you know, and sort of like doing this process of self-evaluation and looking at sort of what you're holding on to from the past that's not serving you, and, you know, and then which relationships and situations are sort of like part of that connection that you need to let go of, you know, because part of evolution and taking a step into the unknown is that we're going to have to be honest with ourselves about like what is not in alignment with, you know, with our true passion and our true desire, and because we're going to have to let that go and step out into the unknown, you know. But this card is letting you know that the conditions are favorable for this now. So it's time to take a step out into the unknown, and it's a super liberating moment because, you know, there's so much opportunity and limitless potential, you know, but it's also like it's pretty scary because it's like stepping out into the unknown, you know. But at the bottom we have the hummingbird. And so this came out in a reading a couple days ago too, which I'll link. I feel like it might have been Always Darkest Before the Dawn. But the hummingbird, it's just this tiny little bird, you know, so you can underestimate this bird. Because, you know, it's super tiny, but actually this bird can travel like long distances, and like it's like a fierce bird that will defend itself, you know, even though it seems just like this cute little dainty thing. It's actually, this bird is fierce, you know. So I think this speaks to having success on your journey. Like, it definitely, it's not going to be an easy journey, you know, because the hummingbird is fierce and has to go through some difficult times, you know, but you have what it takes. Like, you're made of some tough stuff, you know. I posted something about that on social media the other day because I was getting this surge, you know, and I was feeling like really unshackled and like liberated from a lot of things that had been holding me back, and super inspired because like I can start to see the path forward, and that's really inspiring, you know. And that's kind of what I'm getting from this reading right now. It's just sort of like, okay, like you've gone through this arduous path of like letting go of stuff that you can't take with you into the next phase, you know, and now you've got this clean slate, you've dropped all these sandbags, and you're like ready to take off on a new adventure, which is a really exciting moment. I'm going to go to the Muse Tarot to get some overall energies for the reading. I will say, like, when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, like, I got really addicted to this moving. Like, I was just like this wandering soul, and I kept moving to new towns and new, you know, places, and like wanting to like see the world, you know, like I think a lot of people do when they're young. But like I think for me, I got really addicted to the feeling of when you just show up in a new town and you don't know anybody, and you're not being held back by anybody's expectations or ideas about who you are and what you're capable of. Like, it's just wide open, like, and like that feeling was really attractive to me, and I think I followed that feeling a lot, you know, when I was younger. And so yeah, I did this exploratory, you know, time. And yeah, this is kind of reminding me of this. But when I'm looking down at the cards while I'm babbling, this thing that I just noticed about this medicine wheel, you know, the medicine wheel is the card of like letting go of things that no longer serve you, you know, to just like open up the space for this new beginning. And this thing that I just noticed that I've never noticed before, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a hummingbird at the top of the card, you know, and the hummingbird, so this is like your true north, like we're following your passions, you know, and the unknown, and like, you know, the south is more of like who you were, you know, but the north is like where you're going and who you want to be. And like, there's a hummingbird right there. Like, how wild is that? That's so cool. So yeah, this little hummingbird is going to take you there, you know. So, okay, so overall energies that I got for this reading, I got the 8 of Emotions. I got Justice and the Ace of Voices. So really interesting, because again, this lines up with the August monthly reading really well. So the 8 of Emotions, you know, in the typical deck, it's a card of this goes along so well. It's a card of sort of having to leave behind something that meant a lot to you, that you had invested a lot in, you know, because you're starting off on a new journey, you know. And so like this person's like kind of going off into the unknown, and it's like there's this new moon at the top, you know. So this is different artwork than the traditional deck, but I love the artwork, you know. It's just like they're just going off into this unknown, you know. And then we have Justice, you know, which is a card of karma and a card of wrongs being righted. And it's really interesting because this card also came up in the last reading that I did, the one with the medicine wheel. So I think that's something significant. But yeah, I mean, maybe part of the reason why you're having to set off on this new journey is because there's something in your environment that, you know, that was unjust, like it wasn't serving you. And the only way for you to sort of like liberate yourself is to cut the cord, you know, which is crazy because the next card we have is the Ace of Voices, which is like the Ace of Swords. So this is a card of like truth, like harsh truth, you know, just being like, the situation isn't right, it's not serving me, and it's holding me back. And so I'm going to have to tell the truth. I'm going to have to cut the cord and allow karma to happen, you know. Like sometimes you know, people make adaptations in relationships over time, and you know, you don't realize it because it happens like in slow motion, but you know, sometimes these adaptations evolve like into like compensating for other people, you know, sort of maybe taking more than they deserve. Or, you know, you might have like a feeling of unworthiness that might be motivating you to put up with a situation that's less than you deserve, you know, and without realizing it, be like supporting that situation. And so sometimes we have to do an honest evaluation about, you know, if this is a situation that you want to continue to support, you know, if it's like blocking you from your own happiness and your own potential, you know. I feel like I am for sure guilty of this a ton, you know. I think I like have sort of like, someone told me actually yesterday that I have sort of like a caretaker personality. So I have, I'm an empath, like I'm empathic, you know, so it's easy to fall into that pattern. But like right now, I am like trying to be super intentional about, you know, about this, about coming into alignment with what I want to achieve with my life and letting go of the situations that are not supporting that. And so at the bottom of, I'm going to the Golden Art Nouveau to just get more cards and clarification. But at the bottom, we got the Ten of Swords. So this is an end of suffering. It's a card of letting go of stuff that's not for you, you know. And it's kind of like it's the end of the road on whatever that is, you know. So, for the Golden Art Nouveau, I got the Sun. I got the Four of Swords. And I got the Three of Cups. So this is interesting because right under this, you know, taking off on this new journey that's sort of like in alignment with your truth, we have the Sun, you know, like going towards this happiness, fulfillment, you know. It's just like whatever it is that's blocking you and that's blocking you from your own happiness, like we're moving on from that. And the Four of Swords is kind of a card of taking a rest, you know, and taking a moment, you know. It's just sort of like setting out on this new journey, you know, to allow for karma to happen, but then also just taking a moment for yourself to like heal from whatever it was, because, you know, it might have been holding you back for a long time, you know. And then we have the Three of Cups, which is a card of reunion, and it's a card of community. So it's just like telling the truth, you know, about what your true passions are. And then lo and behold, realizing that when you like are honest and putting out there what you truly deserve, what you want, you know, that's going to bring this new community to you, you know. It might be an old community. It might be reunion with something that, you know, from the past. But, you know, in order to connect with that community, what you have to do is you have to tell the truth. You have to come into alignment with what your desires are. And then, on the next one, we have the King of Pentacles. We have the Two of Wands. And we have the Knight of Swords. So it's a lot of truth happening here, you know. But the King of Pentacles is interesting because this king is real prominent in a thread on the channel called Phoenix. And it's all about this king who had been kind of downtrodden and like carrying all these burdens, you know. And he was having to learn some spiritual lesson and right some wrong, which is interesting because the Justice card is also in this reading. And it was like a spiritual lesson that was going to allow him to ascend from this King of Pentacles and become empowered and step into this Emperor status, you know. So it's almost like it's that king, this King of Pentacles is taking this journey. You know, he's letting go of what's not serving him in search of this, you know. So this is like his moment to sort of like take off on his own, you know. And it's like he's at this fork in the road, you know, because it's just like, yeah, there's some situation that needs to be righted, you know. And so the only way that he can do that is to like move forward into the unknown. It's like time to like shit or get off the pot, you know, excuse my French. But like one of the messages with this journey card is that, like, you know, when the moment comes, like, you got to seize the day, because if you miss it, if you miss the boat, actually that's a reading from recently, this moment might not come around again ever, or it might not come around for a really long time. So I think this message is that this, you know, the time is now for this king. Like, I think this story has been in this energy for a long time, like as long as the channel's been around, you know. But this is talking about three-dimensional reality. Like, this is no longer just in the energetic realm. Like, it's time to take action. And that was a message that came through in the last reading that I did too. So we have the Knight of Swords, you know, which is just like a fast-acting message of truth or clarity, you know, and that comes in right under the Ace of Voices and right under this medicine wheel. So it's like time to be honest about what you want so that you can connect with who you're meant to be with, you know. So, wow, this is really going along with the harsh truth reckoning situation for the month, you know, like, this is the moment to, like, just tell the truth and let the pieces fall where they may, you know, to make room for the new era, you know. So it's just like, whoa, this is like, this is like, it's definitely a moment of reckoning, but, oh my gosh. So when I pulled out the Sacred Destiny card, I split it and I got two things. I got truth, and it's real interesting because the artwork on this looks very similar to this card, which is wild, you know. Like, this is a moment of truth. You know, the heavens and the earth are in alignment. You know, these birds, like I was talking about, represent like the truth. And we're at that moment, you know. And, but also what's interesting is we got relaxation. So it's just sort of like, tell your truth and then, like, take a moment for yourself. You know, this is a moment to heal. And maybe that's kind of why you had to, like, break away. Give yourself this moment, you know, so that you'll be ready to set out on this new adventure. But some powerful stuff. I think, I mean, everybody's been talking about, I mean, like, I think everyone intuitively knows that this fall is going to be crazy. You know, I mean, school's going to start. All these things are going to come to a head, you know. There might be a second wave of the virus. There's going to be elections. You know, the school's going to start. We don't know how any of this stuff is going to pan out. But what we know is that there's going to be some real profound changes that are going to happen. So I think it's kind of like, you know, like being a surfer, you know. It's like you see a wave coming, and this is a moment to, like, you know, be in alignment with your true north and know what that is, because this wave is coming and we all see it, you know, and you want to be in alignment with yourself when you jump on so that you can ride that wave and, like, not be, like, spun, you know, by all the chaos that's going to come with the wave, you know. So it's just like, take this moment right now, because we know it's coming down the pipe and it's coming soon, you know. So yeah, give yourself that moment, and we'll check back soon with some more messages. Oh, I forgot to mention, and I'm just going to mention this at the end, but I've been putting links in the description box to this product that I've been repping for. It's exogenous ketones, and it's basically it catalyzes a change in the body from, like, carb burning to fat burning metabolism. And I've been having a lot of profound impacts from it. Just a lot of energy, like better sleep. I think, like, it's really preparing me for this moment that we're talking for, in, like, a physical and, like, a mental way, because it's just sort of like bringing you into, like, it's optimizing internally. So if this is something that interests you, that's my pitch. So check out the description, the links in the description, or reach out if you want to hear more about it. And yeah, good luck. Talk to you soon.